Hey guys, this is Jen, and I am going to start showing you how to do a napkin coaster. So this is our project for August, and so the first way we're going to do it is you gather your tiles. So these are pretty inexpensive to buy, but if you're doing my August box, I put several kinds in there, and so I have MDF board in there, and I have regular ceramic tile. And both of the techniques that we're going to show you this month, all of them will work on the MDF board as well. So go ahead and get your tiles, and doesn't really matter what colors. The colors will show through a little bit, but it doesn't really matter what kind of tiles, just that you have tiles. And wipe them off first. So I wipe them off. Sometimes they have dust and stuff on them. And what we're going to do first is you get your napkin. Let's get these prepped first. So I grabbed some fall napkins, and oh, and Anna's here too. Say hi, Anna.
Hello.
So I grabbed some napkins, and when you're using napkins, let me show you what you need to do. So you really need to take, the napkins have 2-ply. Usually they're 2-ply. If they're more than 2-ply, you'll have to take the other layers off as well. But be really careful. Sometimes I rip them. But you see, you got to separate them and take the second ply off. And I use this the ply in the back to wipe off my brush and stuff so it doesn't go in the trash. I actually use it. Then it'll go in the trash. Or you can use it to put on another project. Sometimes you'll have like a really light pattern on there from the napkin on top, like this one looks like it might. So just be real careful. Let's pull this off. Okay, so you see how it has, like, sometimes this, I don't know if you can see it, but it'll have like a light pattern on here. You can definitely use this as a background for another project. I like to take these and use these to wipe my brushes off. Okay, had some stuff on it. All right, so now we have the napkin top, and so I chose fall because it's the middle of summer, but I start making fall stuff and Christmas stuff now because I'm always behind by the time I get to it. So I have this one for one side, and then this napkin came with this really pretty pattern on the back side of it, so I'm going to put it on the second one, and I might just move. I don't have enough room on my little spot here. But this is fun if you want to do like a group project. This is a great thing to do as a group project, and I almost considered doing this as a workshop in town. I might still do it later on because these make such good gifts, and it's really kind of easy for kids to do. You might have to prep this part for them, but everything else really is really easy. So let's take this off, and there you have it. All right, and you really can't do it wrong, you know, unless you put your napkin on sideways, which really doesn't really matter, because when we put the other layers on top with our Mod Podge, it's going to seal everything in. So I'm going to show you just a quick way to do it, but I'm also going to be doing some mixed media on it and then sealing it as well. So it's not just going to be you know, just the napkin, which you could just do the napkin. It's no big deal. So the first thing we're going to do is we wipe these off. We did the napkins, and now we're going to cover it with that Mod Podge. So I have Mod Podge out. And so what I like to do is flip my bottle over. And I have my bottle flipped over. I don't have very much left in there. So I put it in the cap, because it's easier to get out than dipping my brush way down into that bottle. And I just wipe this off, and all I'm going to do is just, let's do the first one first. We'll cover it in Mod Podge. So Mod Podge is basically just a glue, but it has sealing properties in it too. So I'm just going to cover the tile with the Mod Podge. And you can pick any napkin you want, or specialty paper if you want to do glitter paper or scrapbook paper. This will work the same way. except the paper, you don't have to separate the layers. Just napkins have plies. So if you want to go both ways, up and down too, to get full coverage on your tile, because wherever you don't put the glue, it's not going to stick, and you'll have this spot sticking up. Okay, so we got it covered. So the first thing we're going to do is pull one of our napkins out. Okay, and we are going to put it right on. It doesn't matter if it's flowing over, and if you don't like wrinkles or anything, you can really gently use like a credit card or a piece of board to push this down. I've even had, you can do this, you can take a tile, you can flip it upside down and put it right on top and let it sit for at least 3 or 4 hours and let it dry. You can do it that way. I really like the way it looks with the wrinkles in it. I like that. A lot of people don't, but that's just what I like. So I'm just going around here and I'm lightly tapping around the edges so that I know I got good cohesion there, so it sticks. Okay, and if you want a border, you could cut your napkin a little bit smaller, or your paper, and make a border, or you can put painter's tape around there and it will form a border. So we are just pushing this down just a little bit, and the glue's starting to absorb in the napkin, so be real careful because it will rip if you push too hard. And so we're going to do the next one and let this sit for a few minutes. So when it gets dry, you can either take scissors or you can actually physically rip it off and then glue the outside, which you can do whatever way you want to. There's no real rules for this. It's just what you like. So I'm going to set this one aside, and then I'm going to do this next one. Let's put you over here. Okay. So again, I got my brush sitting in water, and I have baby wipes here, so I have baby wipes I'm kind of wiping it off on. I'm going to take this and just do the same exact thing. Now some people like to paint the tops of their tiles. You can definitely do that if you want to. And the sides, can paint it if you want to. What we're going to do though is we're going to put a couple layers of this Mod Podge on top, and then the last layer would be like an acrylic spray or gloss to keep it, waterproof. So there's many opportunities you could take, after this first time and just paint the outside once this is dry. So just trying to think about where you want your details to show up. So I'm just going to go for it, lay it down. And I'm just, again, lightly tapping it. Okay, lightly tapping it. Making sure that all these edges are touching. And we're going to let it dry a little bit, and we're going to come back and coat it. Okay, I'm going to set him aside. I kind of like all that texture. Do you see that texture in there? That texture in there? I don't know if you could see it, but I like the texture. So if you don't like the extra texture and you want it to be absolutely perfect, put a board or something over the top of it. Okay? Alright, so I know it's still wet. So we just did this one. So what I'm going to do is put a light coat over the top of it. Now again, if you're in my Take a Break group, I have the kit available. If you're in my monthly project, this is the monthly project for this month. We're going to look at several different things to do with our new coasters. In your coaster kit, if you're in the craft corner, you have cork board to go on the bottom. We're going to do that last. So when we're done finishing and sealing our tiles, then we're going to put that cork board on last. So it's going to take a couple days of really painting and letting it dry and painting and letting it dry. I mean, you could do it in one day. I'm kind of rushing it along. Normally I would probably take this, do that part, let it dry, come back and do this part, because napkins, they get so, they're so fragile at this point. When you get to the point where you're wet on wet, kind of brushing the glue on, Mod Podge. So just be careful, like touching a baby's butt is how gentle you're going to be when you're putting the glue on, so you don't rip the napkin. Okay, and there are different kinds of Mod Podge you could use. This is a gloss, a high gloss one. But what I've noticed with Mod Podge is I'm kind of getting the side a little bit too here. So if you want it on the side, go ahead and do a side a little bit. But what I've noticed is that with this high gloss one, it gets really sticky, even if it's all the way dry. So that's why I'm going to put either a spray acrylic sealer on the top or a brush on one, so it won't be so sticky. So we're going to put this one over here, let it dry a little bit. I do have a fan on over there, so it seems like the fan's kind of drying it a little faster, which I like. And again, we're going to take it and take my little thing here. We're going to really gently put a coat on. Now you really want to let this one dry, this coat dry, and then come back in a couple hours and put another coat on. So you want to do that about 2 to 3 times. You want to come and put coats on to seal it, because you want it to be waterproof. Well, it's not going to be water, it will be water resistant. You don't want it to affect your coaster when people actually use it. Alright, so another hint is to get a bunch of these napkins that you want to use. Now in your kits I gave you a whole bunch of different kinds and stuff for different seasons, but you want to get like maybe 6 or 7 of these napkins and use, you know, your make 4 or 5 of these coasters, and then put a couple of those napkins just for like a Christmas or gift set for like a hostess, and put it together and wrap it with a bow and put a little card on it, and that would make such a great little Christmas present or holiday gift or something kind of special you could give. And if you're selling these, that would make a really cute gift. Or you can just make 4 of these and put it in a set, 2 to 4 of them in a set, and sell them that way if you wanted to sell them. There you go. And again, just contact me if you want the August kit for this project. Okay, so I put the 2 coats on here. I smoothed it out the best I can, and now we wait till it's dry, and then we'll finish up our project. So I'm going to show you a different thing too, and it's a really quick thing, but so these 2 are drying. I'm going to do another version. Let's put these away to dry. So originally I had, let's see, I had 2 out here, and I had wiped these off, but sometimes they just get dirty just from sitting there. I had a napkin I was going to use. I don't know what I did with it. Put it somewhere. Or you could use, if you are someone that buys like digital prints and then prints them on your computer. I'll just use the same one. I'll use the same one I just had out. Okay, so if you buy and you print it out on your LaserJet or your inkjet printers, make sure you seal your paper first if you don't want the colors to bleed, because the colors, once the Mod Podge or the glue hits those colors on those sheets, it tends to bleed. And I found that out on a different project I was working on the hard way, and I ended up making a big mess. So beware that your printed downloaded images sometimes will bleed. So in order to get past that, you need to put a sealer on it. You can use a spray adhesive. They have a lot of spray adhesives for like watercolors and charcoals, and that's what you want to use, is one like that. Okay, so these napkins, there's two sides. This is one napkin. There's two sides, so you could make all four of those with one napkin. So it's a pretty inexpensive, really kind of cool project to do with not a lot of waste. So yeah, and you can also use your wood rounds if you have those, or wood squares, or any of those things. If you're gonna do the wood though, you don't have to, but it would be ideal to seal it before. Like put the sealer over the wood, both sides, before you start the project. But you don't have to. You can just use Mod Podge. And Mod Podge itself makes a good sealer. Sometimes I mix it with water, so it's like a little less than a 50-50 dilution ratio, and you mix it with the water, and then you paint it on. That's your sealer. So you could do that too. I'm trying to find the little opening here. I don't know if Anna could find it. I cannot see the opening to peel my layer off. Anna, can you try to do that with this? I'm going to try to do this one. I'm going to try to peel without ripping the front.
That'll be a little hard. What do you want me to do?
We got to separate it.
Separate it? Is there two sides of it?
Yeah, there's this side. This comes off, and then the front's by itself. Because you have to separate it to use it on this project.
You have to tear it a little bit.
Okay, I'll tear a corner where I don't want to. So for some reason I just can't. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so Anna's right. Tear a little bit, and then I'm gonna peel it really gently so I don't rip it. Okay, got this one off. All right. This one came off pretty well. How are you doing on yours, Anna?
Not good.
At least napkins don't cost that much. You can get a lot for a little bit. Some of these decorative napkins, though, I mean, they can be pretty pricey. All right, so this next project, I'm just going to show you a little bit of what I was going to do. You and I are going to experiment with mixed media a little bit on here. So the other projects, so this is just the basic one I just showed you before with just the napkin. This one I'm going to do a little bit of inking and stuff to try to do a little bit of mixed media on here. Because in our classes we've done mixed media projects. Okay, I hear a napkin. Okay, so let's use this as a napkin. And this, oh, you did a good job of peeling it. Okay, so Anna did a good job. I'm going to put it over here, so we're going to use it. And 1, 2. So this would be a good, you think this would be easy for the 4-Hers to do? The parents were helping? I think so.
Yes, it would be very easy.
Very easy. Okay. So I'm thinking it would be.
If they understood it.
Yeah. Well, I think.
I understand it.
You understand it. So we're just painting this on. when it's all dry, we're going to glue the felt. I mean, you can use felt. You can use felt, or you can use cork on the back of these so that when you put the tiles down on your tables or kitchen or wherever you want to put these, they won't scratch the surface. All right, so we're going to put that. We're going to go ahead and do what we did before. And we're going to put the napkin on. You just have to get a good, wherever you want it. Just, sometimes I just go for it. Sometimes that's the best way. And I'm just tapping it to get it all. Now, some people use a book, like I said, and let it dry. Or they use what I'm doing, or they use like a little credit card to get it all smoothed out. Now, if you're using a thick piece of paper, you may still want to use that book or credit card to kind of smooth it out. The napkin, you really can't push and pull too much. I mean, it is real sensitive, that napkin is. So I wanted to show you guys another thing that we're going to do. And I'm hoping it doesn't get wrecked, but we're going to try. Okay. So I'm taking a little bit of the glue. And let's see, I want to put it in here. So I'm going to put a little bit of the Mod Podge in here. And I'm going to mix it a little bit with my color. And I'm going to color it on a little. So there we go. We'll let this dry and then we'll seal it. So on this I wanted to do a little bit of this gold. I'm going to put gold in it around the edges with the sealer, and then at the end I'm going to sprinkle it with some glitter. And then when it's dry, we'll put some, so right here, we got it on there right here. I'm just going to touch a little bit with the gold. So I'm just kind of putting accents on here. Now you can wait till it's dry to do this, and then go over it. And I kind of like it diluted a little bit, but just be careful not to dilute it too much or you're going to get a big mess. So I'm just kind of going over the top with a little bit of that ink. Now we can try it this way. So I'm just experimenting with you. The only thing is you have to be prepared that it's going to get into your other Mod Podge over here, but we're going to put a couple drops on it here. Anywhere where you want it a little darker, if you want to do that. Kind of going to make it look a little old, so we're going to go around the edge a little bit here, and you can always come out and thin it out if you want. Kind of just making it look old, antiquing it a little bit, and at the same time we're sealing it. Just remember, you're going to touch it like a baby's butt. You're going to be real gentle with it so it doesn't rip. Now if it rips, don't worry, seal it. You can put a napkin on it, you can leave it alone and let it dry and it won't rip. But if it does rip, it's okay. Okay? And I'm thinking, you're probably thinking the same thing I am. If you want to enhance this, or maybe if you want to put a saying on here at this point, let this dry, and then we're going to add sayings to it. You know, if you want to do a mixed media project, it's just, we're going to put extra layers of sealer on it. So we're going to keep doing this, and we're done. We're antiqued it. Okay, so the stuff I used was just, you can get regular metallic paint. This is just a Liquitex product that's just a thinner, it's really, really thin craft paint. You could thin it out with water, but just any metallics, just drop it on there, mix it with your Mod Podge to put your sealer on it. Okay, I'm going to leave it like this. I'm going to put my brush back in the water, and I'm going to let it dry. So I'm going to do another one that matches it, but it's going to be antiqued now. Okay? I'm going to put it over here, and when we do seal it, the next level of sealer is going to have glitter on it. So we're going to keep working on it and kind of enhancing it until you get the look you like. Okay. Well, let's do that again one more time. And that'll be it for today, because we're going to keep working on our mixed media stuff. And I wanted to do something a little differently. I've seen a lot of people do just napkins on these tiles, and that was it. I'm going to do one more time, and then we'll be done. So the first thing we're going to do is take our brush, and I don't know if you noticed that, but I didn't rinse my brush out, so now I have a little bit of gold on this seal, on this here. It's okay. And Anna was so good about taking apart my napkin there so that we can get this on. It's actually a pretty nice day today. It's not hot. I mean, I have fans on in here, but it's not like overwhelmingly hot like it's been. Alright, so same thing again. You're going to take your napkin and you're just going to go for it. You're going to drop it in where you want it. Okay. And you're going to pat it on. And make sure we pat the edges really good. In the middle. I'm going to get all those edges down. Okay. Now, I'm going to put some in our bowl again. Just a little bit. I think I used too much last time. There we go. Our lid back on. Okay. Now, I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to actually just do a couple drops here and there. So I kind of want it, I want it to match the other one I just did, so we're kind of doing a set. So these will be a little more antiqued. And I want to get in there and start doing this before the napkin completely absorbs those colors. Because it will. It will. It'll get in there and it'll start pulling the colors around kind of where you don't want them, and there we go. We got good coverage on that. Now if you don't want brush strokes in yours, just make sure you go over it really, really, really lightly and go back and forth and real lightly. Remember, don't push hard because you'll rip your napkin. And don't go over it too many times because it will definitely pull your napkin up. Even though I know you want to do, make some details on here, but you don't want to wreck your project either, okay? So metallic paint will work. I like the way that looks. It kind of gives it a real antique kind of look. You can use whatever colors you want. If you have regular craft paint, just a tiny touch will do. It's okay, because we're going to seal it. We're going to seal it. It's going to be fine. Make sure you get those edges pretty good. Okay. And that's it. That's it. We're done for now. We'll wait till they dry, and then we'll come back and do the next level. Okay? You like that? It's coming out really cute. All right. Thanks for watching.